What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So as you guys know, the draft lottery just went down tonight as I'm recording this. Literally recording this right after Minnesota-Denver game 4, where Denver has tied this series. But as you guys know, like I said, the lottery went down and some crazy things happened. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks, they jumped up to #1 overall. That just goes to show you how crazy the lottery can be. A team that was in the play-in tournament now has a #1 overall pick. So this becomes interesting for Atlanta. There's a lot of different directions they could take now, considering they got #1. Didn't even seem like that would ever, be possible for them. The whole storyline has been, do you trade DeJounte? Do you trade Trae Young? I asked you guys community tab, and you guys gave me some very interesting advice. So without further ado, let's just go ahead, jump in, and do this #1 overall pick, Atlanta Hawks rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like in this one and subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. So when we went into this offseason for the Atlanta Hawks, it was kind of obvious what they should do. They should either trade one of Trae Young, one of DeJounte, trade both, blow it up, whatever it may be. But now that you have #1 overall and you have the potential to draft Alex Sarr, I think all options are back on the table. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to run it back and think Alex Sarr can make up some of the defensive deficiencies like Trae Young has. Maybe you do that. Maybe you still trade one of them. Maybe you still trade both of them. All options are truly on the table, which is why I asked you guys the community tab. And surprisingly, you guys said that the Hawks should trade Trae Young and keep DeJounte Murray, which I don't hate, because someone brought up the idea how building around DeJounte Murray's contract would be a lot easier, which he isn't wrong, because obviously DeJounte Murray's on a pretty good contract compared to what, players are getting paid nowadays. Obviously, Murray is a much better defender. He's not that much older either, and you have him locked up. While Trae Young would probably also get you more on the open market as well. I think teams would be more excited about Trae Young trading for him. So it does make sense in a way to trade Trae Young. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks do not have their future draft picks, so they have to make the right trade. Someone who comes in and helps them win now, maybe get some extra assets for the future. So the Hawks are in a good position. After getting #1 overall, it truly has changed the landscape of their offseason. So we have the draft order completely correct, at least in the first round. The second round's a mess, but that's how you get the first round correct. So, of course, this was the official lottery order now. You got Hawks, Wizards, Rockets, Spurs, Pistons. It's really funny because I just simulated the lottery, by the way, and it gave the Hawks #1 overall pick. As you can see, I didn't have to trade it and make the lottery correct. It literally just gave them #1, so kind of worked out. Even 2K knew the Hawks got #1, I guess. And then I also have updated to where the Hornets have Charles Lee now and the Nets have Jordi Fernandez. So I got the file up to date as best as possible. Let's just get straight into it, guys. So on draft night, we have #1 overall. Do we want to make a trade? Oh, I probably should have addressed some of the staff, but all good. I mean, we have our head coach. Maybe there's a couple positions I probably need to figure it out, but as long as we have our head coach, yeah, it's all good. We should have filled out those positions, but whatever. We'll figure it out next year. All right. Clay Capella probably has to go. He's on a 1-year deal. You're probably going to be drafting Alex Sarr. You're going to have Okongwu, who's been waiting to blossom and get a full-time opportunity. So I think we start with trading Clint Capella away, and then we probably will explore the idea of trading Trae Young. We have to find the right package. I do have a few in mind. But yeah, I guess today we are going to keep DeJounte Murray and trade Trae Young. Today's video is brought to you by DGF's Optimizer. If you play on apps such as PrizePicks, Underdog, or any other DFS app, having a tool like this is so clutch to finding good plays right in front of you without having to do any research whatsoever. So right now on the board, it's pretty late at night. There's a bunch of esports plays, but let's even come down. So we got Jason Tatum over 5 assists. The reason why we're taking this is because every single book has him at 5.5. So you're getting a huge discrepancy at taking him at 5. You don't have to have him get 6. You could break, or he could push, and you still profit if he hits 5. Of course, you hope he gets a 6, but you're taking advantage of that discrepancy. And I would not have known about this discrepancy unless if it wasn't for this tool, which is why it is so clutch to find these good plays. And also esports, not that you guys really care about this, but there's a lot of discrepancies about esports all the time. As you can see, 27, 20.5, 29.5. So is there another basketball example? Jalen Williams over 3.5 over half the 3-pointer made. You got every single book favoring the idea that he's going to hit 1 3. So another really good play, which is why I found these plays right in front of me without having to do any research whatsoever. And I use it on apps such as PrizePicks. PrizePicks, of course, is a DFS app that most of you guys have probably heard about by now. They have a free square on Caitlin Clark. WNBA starts on Tuesday or tomorrow. Maybe it starts tomorrow. I have no idea. I don't really keep up with it. But Caitlin Clark plays Tuesday, and that's a free square, free money. Definitely take advantage of that. So how PrizePicks works is you choose between 2 to 6 players. 2 players being 3 times your entry, all the way up to 6 players being 25 times your entry. And not only do they have basketball, they have baseball, esports, all kinds of options on the table here to check and look from. So again, I would pair whatever I want with the Caitlin Clark promo. But you think Donovan Mitchell is going over 4.5 PRA because he's been cooking. We can plug and play that. Or better yet, we can find that play we found on the optimizer earlier. We can plug in Tatum over 5 assists if we truly wanted to. So, if you want to check out either of these tools, or, check out Prize Picks, which isn't really a tool, but if you want to check out DGF, 25% off your first month when you use code Crushables. And on Prize Picks, they match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 when you use code Crushables. But other than that, let's get back to the video. So I'm going to start simple here with a Clint Capella trade, and I was kind of looking at the trade finder to see what could make sense, and I have two teams at the end here that I think could make a lot of sense. Now, this one probably won't do because I don't really want Chris Paul in this season, but I could definitely see the Warriors maybe wanting Capella. I guess I could in theory bring Chris Paul over, but I don't know. I could flip him later on in another trade if we take on that $30 million. It's not the worst idea in the world. We get a lottery protected 2025 pick, or we could take this Thunder pick or Thunder trade as well, which the Oklahoma City Thunder could use some size, as we know. So getting Capella could make a little bit of sense for them. Time for protected Philadelphia pick, and we get Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams. Yeah, I think we're gonna go and do this trade again. It would have been fine to maybe do the trade with the Warriors, but I don't want Chris Paul, to be honest with you. Although it may not be the worst thing in the world. Like I said, maybe in this next season we have Chris Paul for a year. We get the lottery protected pick. What do I want to do? Because we could end up trading Chris Paul's massive salary to add another player. Or do we want to just get off the salary? I'm going to do this trade. I think we couldn't have really gone wrong with either. But I'm going to go ahead and do this trade with the Thunder, where we get a top 5 protected Philadelphia pick next year, rather than it being lottery protected. Maybe that's a no-brainer in this next year's draft class. So, like I said, we are going to trade Trae Young as well. That's going to take a little bit more thought processing, but there's a few teams, probably more than that, I think would make some sense. Of course, we could talk to the Spurs about about getting all of our picks back if possible, but there's been some ideas that the Spurs are not going to be interested in that. And then someone brought it up that they would be interested, so who knows? But yeah, we are going to attempt to trade Trae Young, and I think, I kind of already done this before, but I think the best possible scenario for the Hawks, if they're going to try to win now, is maybe explore the idea of Ingram for Trae Young type of swap. I definitely think that could maybe benefit both teams. Of course, the Pelicans need a natural point guard. I thought DeJounte Murray maybe make a little bit more sense for them. But maybe they would be interested in a Trae Young for Murray swap. I definitely think there is benefits to both sides potentially doing this. So yeah, that is what I'm going to try to do. Now, you can make the argument on who maybe should give up more. I feel like the Pelicans should maybe give up a little bit more. I don't know, man. It's really what you think. Do you think that Hawks should be giving up more in this trade, or do you think the Pelicans should be giving up more? So you can maybe get 21 in this week draft class potentially from them. So let's say we did Trae Young for Brandon Ingram and 21. I would feel okay about that. Of course, getting like a Bucks pick in the future or something would be awesome too. So I'll try to see if I can do that. But let's see what they say to that. They love their current roster. They think they're a contender right now or something like that. So maybe we can't do this trade until after the draft, which would be fine. We don't have to rush the process. So yeah, I'm going to have to wait till after the draft. So of course, you guys know who I said we're taking. That is going to be Alex Sarr at #1 overall. No brainer there. I'm curious to see how the draft order goes, though, after we just took Sarr. So Ron Holland went 2. Kawhi went 3. Montez Bazeos to the Spurs. Stephon to the Pistons. Hornets, Ryan Dunn. Zachary Richardson goes to the Blazers. Dillingham to the Spurs. That's perfect fit for them. Tyler Smith, Reed Shepard, Kyle Filipowski, Nikola Topic. Kings get Cody Williams, and then Isaiah goes to the Blazers. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to sign Alex Sarr to his rookie deal. Garrison Matthews, only $2 million. We're going to accept that as well. Qualifying offer, Sadiq Bey, going to extend the offer on that, of course. And then we're going straight into free agency. Of course, we're not going to have money to do anything crazy. So we are going to try to, like I said, once again, explore the idea of getting Brandon Ingram. So let's try this again. We're going to be trying to take a 2025 Milwaukee unprotected from them for Brandon Ingram. Let's see if they're down for that. I do think this can make sense for both sides potentially. Let's see what they say. They want a top 5 protected Philly pick. They want 2028. They'll give me Alvarado. Really can't do that. I don't think that's something I would be interested in. What if I could get like a 2028 Pelicans pick? Would that make things a little bit better? They still want first round picks, which I'm not. They're going to give us Juan Nunez, but I'm not doing. What about just a swap straight up? They want the 2028 unprotected Atlanta pick. We also get Alvarado. I don't love getting up the pick here. So let's say we try to get rid of... Okay, let's throw some players in here that maybe won't matter, but they might add value to the trade. So, and of course, they can't take on any extra salary. So we might be stuck having to throw a pick in here, which is quite annoying. I guess we can throw Mohamed Gee in here. He was making $1.89 million. Who do we try to throw in here? Burnett Fenton made 2. What about Matthews? Can I throw Matthews in here instead of... let's see. Can they do that? Okay, so let's try this. So Trae Young, Garrison Matthews, Brandon Ingram, and I get your 2028 Pelicans pick. They are going to ask for a top 10 protected San Antonio or Sacramento pick. We get Alvarado back in return as well. Yeah, I guess we'll do this trade. I don't, like I said, making superstar trades in 2K is really, really hard. It's quite annoying, but I don't think this is the worst trade in the world. It's a top 10 protected Sacramento pick. So, and we get an unprotected New Orleans pick in 2028. We get Alvarado as a throw-in as well. We're doing it. So we get Brandon Ingram here in Atlanta. So now DeJounte Murray is going to slide back to point guard. So he'll play point guard now for this Hawks team. Ingram, we'll figure out what we're going to do with him in just a second. But DeJounte Murray, as I mentioned, is going to play point guard for us once again. So Murray's our point guard. We'll have Alvarado as his backup. We'll have Bogdan right now as the starting 2. That might change. Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter. So what I'm going to do is probably slide DeAndre Hunter to small forward. So we're going to do that. And then, do I want to start Alex Sarr? Okay, this is going to be interesting to see what we're going to do here. There's a lot of different options we could throw in. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to throw Brandon Ingram at the 2. And then we're going to start Jalen Johnson probably at the 3 and start Alex Sarr at the 4. I think that's the best way to do it to give ourselves the best potential here. So I'm going to go something like this. And let me know what you guys think about this. You guys think this would be kind of interesting for Atlanta? So if we did something like this where we got Murray, Alvarado, Brandon Ingram, Bogdan, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, Alex Sarr, Muhammad Gee for now, and Okongwu and Jalen Williams. Not too bad. I don't hate it. I definitely think that could potentially work. So yeah, pretty interesting roster going to next season. I don't know if this is a contender yet. All depends on how good Alex Sarr is, obviously, which we know he could be good in 2K. We get Achua as a backup power forward on our MLE if we wanted to. I don't hate the idea of that. We can get Dario Saric, Watford. Grayson Allen is not supposed to be here, but he is. Drummond as a backup center. Give me Achua. Should Jalen Williams be a power forward? How tall is Jalen Williams? He's 6'9". Let's move him to the 4. He's going to be playing power forward. The man can shoot a little bit as well, so I don't hate that. And we'll sign Drummond because he's one of the best rebounders in 2K you could possibly have. And rebounding is a very important stat in 2K. I'm going to give him a 3-year deal as our backup 5. So that is going to be our offseason. I forgot we're going to get Sadiq Bey back as well. Totally forgot about him. Sadiq Bey, another player that's going to be brought back as long as I can bring him back. I don't know why I'm not able to. So I have not renounced him, which is a good thing. We also have a trade exception from the Capella trade. But yeah, I do want Bey back as well. Kind of wish it would just let me. Can I sign him to a contract? He's probably not going to accept that little. So yeah, he's declined the offer. So he might be back on his qualifying offer, but he is back nonetheless, which he is. W. So now we have a roster of Murray, Brandon Ingram, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, Drummond, Sadiq Bey, Bogdan, AJ Griffin is up, Jalen Williams is up, Bruno Fernando, Kobe Buffkin, Muhammad Gee. Very interesting. And we are going to have the ability to have that New Orleans pick in the future to trade away. We have Kobe Buffkin, who probably is never going to blossom in anything on this roster. So it's another asset we can throw in a trade. So yeah, I think we're in a decent spot. Like I said, all depends how good Alex Sarr is. And I know he could be very good in 2K if I get the right simulation here. So I do believe this team could turn into a contender in theory. But let's go ahead and cut one player really quickly. We're going to cut Mr. Seth Lundy, unfortunately. And this offseason should be, a result of this being a good team. I hope so anyway. So, DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram, DeAndre Hunter, Alex Sarr, Okongwu, Jalen Johnson. So they do want to have DeAndre Hunter start over Jalen Johnson. Sadiq Bey, Andre Drummond, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. So that leaves Jalen Williams out of the rotation, which I feel a little bit bad about. But I am going to just run a 9-man rotation. So we're going to run a 9-man rotation, and we'll see how that goes this season. I do want to start Jalen Johnson over DeAndre Hunter, though. I just think that makes a little bit more sense just based off what Jalen Johnson was able to accomplish last year. But I'm curious to see how this goes. And then shot tendencies, Murray's is an 81, Ingram's is a 95. Alex Sarr, the draft is 85, so that's fine with me. So yeah, I think if Ingram was our best, our shot taker or the guy that shoots the most, probably that's fine. I'll move Jalen Johnson up just a little bit. But let's go ahead, simulate this season. Let's find out if 2K agrees with what we built here, or is this going to result in a bad season? Very interested to see how this is going to go. Let's simulate year number 1. So at the end of year number 1 in this rebuild, Jokic wins MVP. Alex Sarr wins Rookie of the Year, which is great to see, obviously. 16 points and 8 rebounds from him. Amin Thompson, 6th man. Wembanyama, Defensive Player. Most Improved goes to Wiseman. And D-Book, Clutch Player. And Mark is your Coach of the Year. So here's your All-NBA first team. I can't imagine we have any representatives on, All-NBA teams. But it would be cool if we did. But unfortunately, not going to happen. So we got Alex Sarr, number 1 overall. Or, sorry. He wasn't number 1 overall. But he is on All-NBA first team. Or All-Rookie first team. Sorry. If I could speak. I don't know why I'm losing my words here. But we got the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, which is fantastic. And a rookie season of Alex Sarr getting him to the playoffs right away is fantastic. This is a huge step in the right direction if you're Atlanta, where you went from a play-in team to a straight-up playoff team this year. I think you have to feel pretty good about the result and feel pretty good about what you accomplished in the offseason and build from there. But we'll see if we can win a playoff series or two to really enforce that this could work. So let's go ahead and see if we could beat Detroit, who did side Cade Cunningham. I absolutely hate the fit of that, to be honest with you. But regardless, let's go ahead and see if we can knock off the Pistons here. They do have home court advantage, so many current round. And we are going to be up 3-2. And we are going to a Game 7. So Game 7 in round 1. Love to see the experience we're getting for Alex Sarr. They want to start Drummond in this Game 7. Very interesting. I guess I'm with it. Let's see what happens. So let's see. Detroit's far, yeah, Drummond's former team. Let's see if we can beat them here. They had the lead for a second, but we take it back. Can we keep the lead? And we are going to lose a Game 7. But hey, we have to feel good that we are being competitive this year and made the playoffs. And now it's just a matter of taking the next step. So Cleveland, Oklahoma City, and the Thunder going to win a championship. Shea is your Finals MVP. You got LeBron James retiring this year around. Conley's retiring in Minnesota. Let's go to the draft lottery now. So lottery process this year is not going to matter for us. We just made the playoffs. And another thing that I did is I made sure that all the picks were actually taken care of this time. So, for instance, Portland's pick usually goes to the Bulls because 2K doesn't have that fixed. Hornets pick would have went to the Spurs, but we fixed those. So now the picks should reflect on what they're supposed to be, at least in this offseason as well. So that is your draft order. So as far as staff sign is concerned, I didn't get the opportunity to fill this out last year. My silly self skipped it. So I'm going to fill out this coaching staff, and we're going to figure out what is the next move to take that next step, because we feel good about how year 1 went. So here we are before we go into this draft night. Coach staff is completely figured out, and I kind of want to see who would be the best available player we could go get right now. Now, I will say, Johnson Murray, of course, has improved from the 3-ball quite a bit. 30% shooting from 3 last year. Ingram, of course, not really a known 3-point shooter when he doesn't take them all that often. More of a mid-range assassin. Hunter, probably not in the long-term plans, but he is a 3-and-D wing nonetheless. Jalen Johnson, Okongwu. But I, immediately came to mind who I think we should probably target, who would be available. And, of course, he's in Utah. I do believe marketing would be a fantastic fit for what we could use right now. They're selling, and I think he'd be great. I think he'd be a good floor spacer to have on this roster. Of course, with him, his height, he could play the 4 for us, and he didn't shoot great last year, but I imagine with him not being the number 1 option, he could really dial in and be more efficient once again. So I do want to try to see if we can snag Lauri Markkanen. I think he'd be a fantastic fit on this roster next to Alex Sarr. I don't know how I'm going to do the rotation just yet, but I do believe, like I said, Lauri Markkanen would be great for us. So how do we do this trade? I'm going to include Bogdan's contract. We have 26 in this draft. We have a pick swap with the Spurs, so we'll send our pick swap as well. And I do believe, I think it could make some sense to send Kobe Buffkin as well in this trade, because he's probably never going to be anything for us, unfortunately, as much. Well, he's not under contract right now, so I guess I really can't do that. I'm not saying Alex Sarr, obviously. I could send Drummond, technically, because we are about to do kind of a, well, we could play Markkanen at the 3 and still start Okongwu, and not sure exactly how we're going to do this just yet. So I'm going to send Jalen Williams, I guess, for now. So Bogdan, 26, a pick swap, Jalen Williams, and then maybe another pick. I don't think is out of the realm of possibility for a guy like Lauri Markkanen Services, who's locked up for 4 years on a pretty good contract. So I'm sending that over to Utah for Lauri Markkanen. I do love that trade for us. So Lauri Markkanen, welcome to Atlanta. Maybe I paid a little too much, but I was just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm lowballing rather than, I don't know. You guys criticize me all the time. Feel free to criticize me for that trade, but not sure what I'm going to do for Lauri Markkanen just yet, but I do love his fit on this team as a floor spacer for a team that could use a little bit more shooting. So I love that for us. Let's go straight into draft. Not that actually draft night don't matter anymore because we just traded our pick. So we got AJ Griffin, Bruno Fernando, Kobe Buffkin, except all of those. Jalen Johnson is a free agent. I do want to bring him back. And then free agency. Tatum's a free agent. Obviously, we're not going to be able to afford anything like him. So Ingram's a free agent. So is Jalen Johnson. And so is Sadiq Bey. I don't believe we'll re-sign Sadiq Bey. It was great to have him last year, but at this point, it's going to be a little too expensive to bring him back. I don't think we have to bring back Alvarado either. I said we were probably going to I'm going to hope Kobe Buffkin develops into like a 77 maybe. Might be a little optimistic to think that, but I'm going to see if it happens. So I am, of course, going to resign Brandon Ingram. We traded our franchise guy and, Trae Young to get him, so when it makes sense to let him leave. And then we are going to resign Jalen Johnson as well. So we're going to pay a little bit of money here, but I think bringing both of them back, adding them to this Markkanen addition is going to be nice. So we do have the ability to sign Sadiq Bey back. Like I said, I'll think on it, but I don't think I'm going to. So we're going to let Kobe Buffkin play backup point guard next year, it looks like. We'll have Brandon Ingram at the 2. I guess we could use another guard still, unless we slide someone over, which is possible, because like AJ Griffin could step up. Hunter, we don't really have a backup 4 right now. So yeah, we don't really need to sign a guard, I don't think. So what we're going to do is Hunter did play some 4 for us last year. We could slide Jalen Johnson out of the 4. Now he probably won't start anymore with Markkanen. I'm going to slide Jalen Johnson down the 4 for now. He'll play some backup power forward, I guess. Although I do like potentially his ceiling one day being a really good starter for Atlanta. But for now, in this video, I guess he's going to go ahead and, well, he might start over Alex Sarr, I guess, but we'll see. But we might change things. This rotation is very versatile. We could kind of change to however we want. I'm going to slide AJ Griffin to the 2. He's probably going to go down quite a bit. He does, but I'm going to have him play some backup shooting guards. So I'm going to let these young guys that I kind of been waiting in the shadows to step up next year. Hopefully to develop enough. Maybe I should sign Alvarado just in case they don't, though. So he might be gone, though, by now. And he is. All right, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to bank and hope that they develop into good enough backup guards that it won't matter. So not bringing back Bay. Just a little too much money. Kobe Buffkin's up to a 76. I guess that's good enough for me. AJ Griffin, rather than going up. Well, I guess he did go up from the shooting guard spot, but we moved him to small forward. Or we moved him down. Alex Sarr's up to 83, which is great to see. Brandon Ingram Murray is developing, which is great. So I'm going to next season with a very interesting rotation. So I think we've cooked here in Atlanta. We'll see if 2K agrees, but I do love what our roster is about to look like. This is going to be interesting to see if this is going to work. So let's get straight into next season. I got to load a draft class fairly quickly, just here for a second, and then let's take a look at what this is about to look like. So rotationally, we are going to have Power Rankings going to Lance 9th overall. Proficiency is a 4-star now. So here's rotation. It's Murray, Ingram, DeAndre Hunter. So they do want to bring Lauri Markkanen off the bench, which I can't agree with. Jalen Johnson, and then we're bringing Alex Sarr off the bench, which I don't agree with either of those options that we're doing right now. So I'm going to fix that. So Hunter is going to come off the bench for Markkanen, and then Alex Sarr starting over Jalen Johnson. So we're going to fix those just a tad bit. Something like this, and then Ingram's going to get 32. Sarr, of course, probably our franchise player, 35. So something along the lines of that is what we're going to cook going to this season. Let's see if this ends up working out. I'm hoping this ends up being a really good season for us. Our proficiency does go down. I guess we move it to 7. So I guess we'll move this to balance since it messed up our proficiency a little bit. So we'll go to balance. We'll see how this season goes, and hopefully we are back in the playoffs. But maybe this time we're like a top 3 seed. Luka this time wins MVP for Dallas. Cooper Flag, Rookie of the Year in Chicago. Nicholas, 6-man in Oklahoma City. Defensive player goes to Wemby. Also, most improved in OKC. Clutch player goes to Edwards. Mark is your coach of the year at 63 and 19. Murphy's your executive, and we saw obviously Luka won MVP. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team, and All-NBA third team, All-Defensive first team, and All-Defensive second team. And here was your All-Rookie team. So we ended up getting what we wanted. We ended up being the second seed in the East. For a long time, we actually held the first seed in the East and just like lost at the very end of the season, unfortunately. But here are your player stats. You had Ingram for 22, Murray with 21, 18 from Sarr, which you love to see, 18 from Markkanen, 10.5 from Jalen Johnson, 10 from Hunter, and Okongwu with 9. So I'm curious to see how Markkanen shot now, and 38%. So a lot better compared to last year. Like I said, not him, him not being like the #1 option, I think probably helped with that, which is why we wanted him. Ingram shot 30% as well. Murray 40%. Alex Sarr 33%, which we'll take. And then Jalen Johnson, Hunter only 35 and 33. So looks like we have the ability to knock down some threes, which is something we could be excited about. And now we are going into round 1 with expectations to win this series because we are the higher seed here. So Brooklyn did get Sadiq Bey from us. So let's see how this is going to go. I'm curious to see if I try to fix a rotation, whether 2K would fix it. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it, though. The semi-current round against Brooklyn. Hopefully, we just take care of them as we are down 2-0 to start this series. Not a great look. They want to start Drummond. I don't know why they're so high on Drummond, but whatever. I'm going to go 8-man rotation. Let's see if we can win these next 2. And we're down 3. So we go from the second seed in the East just to get mopped like this is kind of disappointing. Unless we're coming back from 3-0, which is possible. But yeah, I don't know, man. 2K be weird with this, especially for me. I don't know if other YouTubers have this kind of bad luck, but I feel like I have the worst luck possible. I can get the first seed and it won't matter. I'm getting bounced by the 8th seed regardless. So we'll lose that Brooklyn team. Not a great look. That really sucks. Someone to have to. That's a fireable offense. Hornets getting the championship, by the way. Holy moly. So not only did we lose in round 1, we got swept. We got literally swept in round 1. Lakers get #1. Not a great feeling. So with that, I think we have to, unfortunately, fire. Well, Quinn Snyder is not under contract anymore. I think we have to hire like a Nick Nurse or something. So I think that's what we'll do. We're going to hire a new head coach, and we can get Tyronn Lue maybe. Can I get one of them? So Tyronn Lue will sign. We'll go with that, and that will be our new head coach. Going forward, we'll figure out what we're doing next. So now that we have our head coach secured, I might be crazy, but I do believe there is a potential that we could just run this bad boy back. I do believe last year was somewhat of a fluke. We got eliminated in round 1 as a second seed, which was kind of annoying, but We're going to extend Kobe Buffkin and Muhammad Gee, and then we're going to get into free agency. I don't think we have any free agents. I guess AJ Griffin is here. But free agency, one thing I guess I could use is maybe a better backup guard, just in case AJ Griffin doesn't develop the way I want him to. I mean, maybe we get an upgrade from Drummond, but that's probably not going to be possible. Mystery is here, which is interesting. What did he do last year? So 6 points and 4 rebounds. Kind of interesting to get him maybe as a young player. But I think for now, I'm going to sound like a Romeo Langford, I guess. Just, well, he's probably going to be much better than AJ Griffin. We might as well do this. We are going to go ahead and sign Mystery. Why not? I mean, he's a young player, so might as well sign him. And then we'll get AJ Griffin back. That's probably the best way to do this. So that's Fernando. We'll get AJ Griffin back. Hopefully he develops. So we'll grab Mystery and AJ Griffin in this offseason. We have a new head coach. We'll run it back. I do believe Tyronn Lue is balanced already. So hopefully that works out a lot better. And then Alex Sarr should develop a little bit more. So I have to imagine last year was fluky, right? Like no, I don't know why I say fluky because it happens to me all the time in 2K. So is it really a fluke? I don't know. But regardless, I mean, I love what we've built so far. I just feel like Alex Sarr also jumps up to 88 overall. So that should help out an absolute ton. So we were really close having the first seed in the East last year. We ended up with second, get swept by Brooklyn Nets in round 1. I have to imagine our luck next year will be a lot better. So Patrick's going to land us 8th overall. 3. Okay, I guess we'll lose a pace and space by default. I thought it was a balance by default, but we are going to go back to balance because last year it worked out pretty good until it didn't, I guess. But we'll still go with it. I'm going to simulate this season now, and hopefully, let's go with the rotation really quickly. Let's see. So this is the kind of starting 5 I want going into next season. So Murray, Brandon Ingram, Markkanen, Sarr, Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, Hunter, Kobe Buffkin, and Mystery, and AJ Griffin. So that is our rotation. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully this team ends up being really good like they should be on paper, and we're back in the conversation of being #1 seed. So at the end of the season, Luka Doncic wins MVP, this time in a different uniform as he's on the Warriors now. Interesting. Boozers, Rookie of the Year on... Ooh, Trae Young's on the Pistons now. Very weird. Okay, so far this is looking weird, but Wemby Defensive Player. Von Castle, most improved. So the Pistons must have lost Cade Cunningham. I don't know, but they do win Coach of the Year as they went 60-22. All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, and All-NBA third. Offensive first team, and All-Defensive second team. So we finish up as the second seed in the East once again. Hopefully this time around we actually win a series or two. 21 from Ingram, 18 from Sarr, 17 from Murray, 16 from Markkanen, 11 from Jalen Johnson, and 11 from Kobe Buffkin. I always like to look at this when I'm trying to build a team that doesn't have the best shooters, but Alex Sarr has improved a little bit, 37%. 39 from Murray, 43% from Ingram, 38% from Markkanen, 32 and 39. So not too shabby. In round 1, we draw the Orlando Magic. So obviously, very good team. This team is better than the team we matched up last year, but hopefully we can find a way to beat them. Although I'm not feeling good about my chances here because that's a damn good team on the other side that we're about to play. I'm going to shrink the bench utilization down to 50 and run a Naman rotation in these playoffs. Mystery, yeah, so I think this is what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and see if we can upset, or not, I guess not upset the Magic. We need to beat them. We'll see what happens. So Mike Kerr round against Orlando, and we sweep them. Okay, how did we lose to... I don't know. 2K is so weird. How did we lose to a Brooklyn team last year that looked like they did, and then we just beat the Magic that looked like this? That simply? I don't know. Whatever. We get the Cleveland Cavaliers in round 2. Of course, they're usually tough to beat in 2K, but hopefully we can. So game 1, 1-0. Game 2, they're up 2-0 so far. So are we going to win this series? We're going to have to win 4 straight. Or not. We don't have to win 4 straight, but we have to win at least this one. I can't imagine going down 3-0. That's probably not a good sign to winning this series if we're going to go down 3-0 to the Cavs. And we do go down 3-0, as I didn't want that to happen. But let's see if we can come out here and maybe win 4 in a row. Obviously going to be very tough to do, but you never know. And we are going to get swept. So we go from getting swept in round 1 to swept in round 2. Not a great feeling. So I think we got to change things up. So we're going to go in this offseason and definitely change things around. So let's go to the lottery. Let's figure out what we're about to do. So the lottery obviously isn't going to matter for us, but we can't go into next season expecting the same thing. So we're going to move this rotation around quite a bit. So I think what we're going to do is Alex Sarr is going to move to the 5 now. So he's going to play 5 for us. Okongwu, I guess, going to play some backup center this year. So that's going to move some guys around. So Murray's going to play point guard still. Markkanen will probably... Actually, I guess we could start Jalen Johnson in theory now if we wanted to. So Jalen Johnson can start. Markkanen, Hunter. So yeah, I guess that's maybe the only thing we're doing. I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference or not, but I guess we'll find out. So let's figure out if there's anybody... I guess that's the Heat. We don't need to worry about the Heat. So as far as our coach staff is concerned, it's completely filled out right now. We're going to go straight to player options. Unless we had a draft pick. I guess I should double check on that. So let's see. Do we have a pick from somebody? No. We have a second round pick. Not really going to matter in this situation. So let's just go straight into player options. Mystery, I'll accept. And then qualifying offers, Kobe Buffkin. Definitely want to bring him back as well. All right, so free agency. Of course, you know, I'd love to sign Wemby. So Drummond's a free agent. Probably not bringing him back now. And Kobe Buffkin's a free agent. So do we move on from Hunter? AJ Griffin? No. I think we bring back DeAndre Hunter and Kobe Buffkin. And maybe just, I don't know. Do we run it back again? Or do we just try to make like a solid move somewhere? Let's see what I could do in theory if I did try to do something. So this is, yeah, so I'm not starting anybody here. So we have Murray, Kobe Buffkin, AJ Griffin, Ingram, Lauri Mark and DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Alex Sarr and Okongwu. So do we want to start Markin at the 4 and start Hunter at the 3? Do we want to move Jalen Johnson to the 3? So let's see. If I move Markin to the 4, he goes up, and Jalen Johnson goes up at 3. So I definitely think it's a no-brainer. So we'll move Jalen Johnson to the 3 and Markin into the 4. We'll do something like that. That should help out quite a bit. But yeah, we'll run something like this. Hopefully this final season is going to go in our favor. So as best as it could possibly be, I think this is the best possible rotation we could have thrown together. I'll sign Caleb Martin in free agency as well. And we'll hope for the best results. So let's go straight to player progression, hoping Sarr develops a little bit more. This will be the first year we play him at center, and Okongwu is the backup this time around. Don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. But, you know, we're going to hope and pray it does. So Markkanen, Jalen Johnson, Ingram, Okongwu, Hunter, Kobe Buffkin, AJ Griffin. And Sarr did not move, but he's an 88 overall. So we're going to next season. Expectations high once again. This will be the 4th try at it, and we'll see if this time it works out in our favor or not. So this season went about as good as I could ask for. We won over 60 games, and we're the first seed in the East. So obviously expecting hopefully a deep run this time. I'm hoping to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if this is going to be the final season. I guess it kind of depends on how the playoffs go. But here goes nothing. We're going to draw the Brooklyn Nets in round 1, who of course swept us just a couple years ago. Hopefully this time we can return the favor. I was about ready to just give up. But we came down from 3-0 and won. So whatever. Now we get the Cavaliers, who just beat us last year. They got Ryan Dunn, who's up to an 84 overall. Mitchell, Garland. Where's Ryan Dunn even from? From Virginia. Not really sure if I've watched him at all. But Mobley, Allen, Jordan Poole, Keelan Ware, Precious Chua, and Mo Bamba. Somebody current round against Cleveland, and this time we're up 3-1. Can we beat them in 5? Yes, we do. So we do actually make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we were so close to getting eliminated in round 1 again. But now we get Chicago, who has Cooper Flagg, Isaac, and Jalen Duren. So a very interesting, and Cameron Whitmore, not to mention Kobe White for Evan Vliet. So a very interesting Chicago squad. Lonzo's still there as well. Game 1 goes to them. Game 2, 2-0. Do we win game 3? Nope. Once again, we're down 3-0. Beautiful, because Hunter sucks. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's all his fault. But, you know, we just came down from 3-0 earlier. So I guess we'll see if we can come down from 3-0 this time around. Maybe. I mean, it's going to be hard to do, but we'll give it our best shot. All right, so we are going to take the lead late in this game. Can we keep it is the question, and we are going to win game 4. 1 game at a time mentality. If we win this one at home, we go to Chicago, get a road win, and then we're back in Atlanta for a game 7. So let's see if we can win this one first and foremost. I said 1 game mentality, then start thinking about the future games. We are going to win this one as well, so far, so good. All we got to do is win game 6. We got ourselves a game 7 in Atlanta. So let's come win this game 6. Let's take advantage of this. Can we win this one? They have a lead right now. Can we steal it at the very end? We're getting closer, but it doesn't look like 2K is going to allow me to take this. So we are going to get bounced, unfortunately, in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think we're going to try one final season on this. We're going to give this one more chance. And if it ends, and if next year is chalked, then whatever. We're not winning a championship today with this Hawk squad. Ladies and gentlemen, final chance here no matter the result. If we get eliminated, we get eliminated, but it is the same roster, same song and dance. Let's come out here and see if this year is our year or not. So we get Embiid in round 1, an older Joel Embiid who is now 35 years old. I can't imagine those knees are still holding up, and we are going to sweep them. So we're off to a good start here. We don't go down 3-0 this time. But now we get a Charlotte squad who has, oh, I thought that was Donovan Mitchell for some reason, but it's Davion Mitchell, LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Omari, Williams, Rocco, Hamdou Diallo, and Shane Roy. Somebody current round against Charlotte, and we are going to beat them in 5. And now we get the team that beat us last year, that being the Chicago Bulls. Do we get sweet revenge this time? I'm going to click somebody current round rather than going game by game last year. And this time we beat them in 5, and we draw the Jazz to end it off. As Cooper Flag averaged 40 in that series, but it did not matter. But now we draw the Jazz. They have Ace Bailey, Walker Kessler. Outside of that, I am not intimidated by any means. We beat this team every time, right? It was close, but we do beat them in 7, and we win a championship to end this one. Wow. Man, it took a while, but we got it done at the end of the day. So first video of the Draft Lottery series is in championship. Can't complain too much about that. Like I said, it took quite some time to get it done, but I'll take that each and every time rather than the alternative. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tomorrow we'll be back with the number 2 overall pick, that being the Washington Wizards. Definitely comment down below, who do you guys think the Wizards are going to take? As we go further and further, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to determine on who's going where because this draft lottery does not have a consensus whatsoever. But hope you guys enjoyed regardless. I'll see y'all in the next one. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.